Nobody believes for 1 minute that Ruben Amorim will be the manager of Manchester United in 3 years.
So him going to Man United, well, I don't wish him very well, as you can imagine.
Ruben Amorim was one bad week away from getting cooked on every show.
The record is ugly. I'm talking about Ruben Amorim's.
But now, Ruben Amorim's vision is finally working at Manchester United.
To the byline, gets it across, chance goal! Manchester United!
So, what changed? How did this broken, confused Manchester United suddenly turn into a team nobody wants to face? Before Ruben Amorim walked into Old Trafford, everyone thought they had him figured out. A nice coach, a Portuguese prodigy, a man with potential. But nobody, not the pundits, not the fans, not even the players, understood what was really coming.
I think it's not easy when in middle of the season you change, for example, the manager.
Because Amorim didn't arrive at Manchester United to fix a football team. He arrived to break a mentality, to rip out the fear that had poisoned the club for a decade and rebuild a dressing room that had forgotten what authority even looked like. For years, United were a soap opera. Leaks, tantrums, egos, excuses. Managers spoke about projects, players wrote Instagram apologies, and nobody could explain why this giant kept sinking. And then here comes Amorim, calm, measured, soft-spoken. So soft-spoken that people mistook silence for softness. They didn't know the truth. Behind the calm smile laid a man shaped by conflict, a man who grew up in a Lisbon neighbourhood where you either developed a strong personality or got crushed by the world around you. They didn't know he had once paid 10 million euros out of his own pocket just to walk away from a club that had disrespected him. Who does that? Who pays to leave a job just to protect his principles? This is the man Manchester United hired. Not a tactician, not a philosopher, not a new era coach. A man who spent his entire life fighting the same enemy, being underestimated. The biggest lie about Ruben Amorim wasn't his personality, it was his system. The internet said it didn't work, pundits said it didn't suit the players, fans said he was too stubborn to survive in England. But here's what nobody understood. Amorim didn't bring a system to Manchester United. He brought a language, a football language his players couldn't speak last season. And that was the real issue, not the formation, not the tactics. The players couldn't execute the ideas. Last season, United tried to play Amorim ball with forwards who didn't press, wing-backs who didn't track, and midfielders who treated the ball like an unexploded grenade. So, of course, it fell apart and people said, the system doesn't work in England. But the truth was much simpler. You can't run a Formula 1 blueprint with tricycles. This season, the picture is completely different. Why? Because for the first time since arriving, Amorim finally has the right pieces. Sesko's vertical runs, Cunha's press resistance, Mbeumo's work rate and intelligence, Ahmad's timing, Dalot and Shaw understand rotations. Lohmans is distributing like a quarterback. This is not a new system, this is the same system, finally being executed by players who understand it. The reality is that Amorim's entire football philosophy depends on three things: aggressive pressing, press-resistant forwards, wide overloads that collapse into central traps. Last season, he had none of these. This season, he has all three. But that alone doesn't explain the transformation. There was something else, the attitude of his players. In case you haven't noticed, the culture around Manchester United is different, and it's all credit to Amorim. He made United more ruthless, less patient, less romantic. He took his sporting blueprint, a structure built on control, and adapted it to the Premier League, a league built on violence, chaos and transitions. That's why United suddenly looked faster, sharper, more vertical, more dangerous. And once the players clicked into this rhythm, the football changed immediately. But here's the detail everyone is overlooking. Amorim didn't soften his ideas to fit the players, he hardened the players to fit his ideas. And that, more than any formation switch, is why Manchester United suddenly looked reborn. United finally started playing Amorim ball. But if the system now works, and the players finally fit, then the next chapter becomes even more terrifying. Much has been said about Premier League teams returning to more transitional football, from Postecoglou's high wire line to De Zerbi's bait and press. But even in that crowd, United stand apart. They've attempted the third most long balls in the league. Last year, they were the 5th slowest attack in build-up speed. Now, they're the 8th fastest. Only Brentford and Aston Villa played longer on average, but neither combined that directness with this level of defensive control. That control begins at the back. Amorim's back three, once hesitant to step into midfield, now defend on the front foot, pressing, tracking and intercepting through multiple phases. Against Brighton, Luke Shaw, somehow still standing after years of injuries, read a loose touch from Jorginho Rutter like a chess player 2 moves ahead, stealing possession and launching the attack that led to goal. No team in the league has switched play more often than United. The repeated diagonals to the right isolate Amad Diallo, whose acceleration and timing stretch defences to their limits. Up front, Matheus Cunha and Bryan Mbeumo have brought intelligence to the chaos. Gone are the heavy touches and blind sprints. In their place, control, awareness and maturity. Each move feels deliberate, almost rehearsed. It's no longer just tactics. You can sense belief again, the kind that can't be coached, only earned. Amorim's football now feels less idealistic, more industrial, efficient, ruthless. A system that finally works with the Premier League's rhythm, not against it. But every system looks perfect until it faces fire. And for Amorim, that fire is coming. With a simple but ingenious tweak to his forward line, Ruben Amorim has found a way to make United's long ball approach both unpredictable and productive. By rotating Benjamin Sesko in and out of the starting lineup, he's built flexibility into a system that once felt rigid. When Sesko starts, his flick-ons give United a direct outlet, especially effective in matches against sides like Chelsea and Sunderland, where the aerial duels open space for runners underneath. But against teams that can neutralise a target man, those who press high and win second balls quickly, Amorim isn't afraid to pivot. Just as he did in the 2-1 win over Manchester City 11 months ago, he isn't shy about making bold calls, dropping Sesko and Lenny Yoro against Liverpool to deploy Cunha as a false 9 and trusting Maguire's experience instead was the kind of decision that defines his courage. Especially in the bad moments, you have to go with your gut, he said after the game. Right or wrong sometimes, that's the key point of being a manager. This more aggressive, adaptive approach starts from the very back, with Senna Lummond, whose long distribution has quietly become a weapon. Against Liverpool, he attempted 45 long passes. Against Brighton, 34, the most by any Premier League goalkeeper in a single match since last season. United now average 23.2 long goalkeeper passes per 90 minutes, a staggering 76% increase from last year. But Amorim's strategy isn't about completing every long pass, it's about what happens after. The idea is simple: force the opponent's centre-backs into aerial duels, reclaim the second ball, and attack the disorganised lines that follow. Take Liverpool for example. Lomans completed just 8 long passes that day, but every one of them had a purpose. He consistently targeted Bryan Mbeumo down the right flank, drawing Van Dijk or Konate into physical contests. That chaos created openings for Cunha and Bruno Fernandes to swarm the second ball, recovering possession and launching the switch to Amad or Patrick Dorgu on the wings. It's football by design, not coincidence. Transitions rehearse like set pieces. So for the first time in a long time, Manchester United look intentional, sharper, harder to break, a team with structure instead of panic. Amorim hasn't perfected anything yet, but he's built something real, a foundation that actually holds. And if this is United still learning the system, imagine them when everything clicks. Now, if you love these deep tactical breakdowns where we go beyond the headlines and reveal what others miss, hit that subscribe button right now. This is As Watch, where football lovers understand the game. We break down the patterns, the systems, the hidden details that separate great teams from average ones.